Hey everybody, welcome back to Recall the Moment podcast. I'm Josh, the vocalist of the band, and today we actually have a performance, Mr. Dayne Melvin.
Thanks, man.
By all means, start up.
Sun, spill liquor on the floor. My home found between that space and the door. The guy came that night, was asking how I felt. We're coming down, this makes this whole thing new again. Sunny long for another paper and a pen. As disposable, so second chances have been yet. Hell to die. It's in my head again. Broken on mirror, talk us off that ledge.
That is a great way to start a podcast. Thank you for that.
My mic kept falling.
Sorry about that. Okay, that's the official start.
You're really good at this.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
It's all been a learning thing.
You are, because I just was telling this story that was no value, and you were like, "We got to start this." So you're good at it. You're good at this.
It had value. I just wanted to make sure you knew that everything from this point on is being recorded.
It had no value. We've been recording. It had no value. I was talking about shopping in Target and not being able to handle myself.
People like entertaining normal stuff. It's the way the world works. They want to know that you're just like them.
Oh, I'm too much. Too much.
It's been really fun today. Thank you for the performance there.
Thank you for having me.
Please officially introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are.
Hi, everyone. This is
that's your
the
camera. Yeah.
I'm looking right at it. It's good to see you. My name's Dayne Melvin is my last name. It's good to be here. It's good to be here.
We've had a lot of fun today.
It's been great.
It really has. So what was the...
What else should I say?
What would you like to say? What do you do?
Was it just...
What do you enjoy doing musically? Where do you play?
I only know how to play guitar. I can play about 5 chords on a piano.
Okay.
So I got you for like 90 seconds, and you'll think I could do it. But if you stay longer than that, like it's like, all right, something's going on. I keep hitting this mic.
Well, obviously you do vocals as well. We just watched you do.
Yes, I like to holler a little bit.
Yeah.
I like to holler.
I've
learned to make it less whiny.
Do you have anywhere you like to play around?
Yeah, so I'm from about 25-30 minutes north of here.
They don't know where that is.
I know. They I'm in the Dover area, and so I play a lot more locally up there, like restaurants, bars, stuff like that, different events. I play down in Milford and all that stuff. It's a lot of bar gigs, I think, is the best way of putting it. Just solo guy, but the timing of right now is pretty interesting and pretty different, and I've kind of stepped out of some things about 6 months ago, and so but I don't know if that like played a big role in it, but it's definitely, it's made this feel kind of like music, I guess, for me, feel like kind of like I'm restarting a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is weird because I've been playing out for about 8 years. I was trying to do the math today. We talked about not being good at math earlier.
I'm terrible at math.
We shared in that, but I was really like trying to think hard, which was, and then I swerved. So I don't think hard too much while I'm driving. But I think about 8 years 2015 was, I think, the first gig that I played, and it was awesome. It was so cool. There's a restaurant up in Dover, a bar. They're called Touchdown. I've grown up with them. It's a family owned place. I've grew up with that family, and they took a shot, let me do my thing, right. And it was. I think about that night every once in a while, and just like it was like. At the time, they didn't have like their extended parking lot, which they have now. Mm-hmm. So at the time, it was a very small parking lot, and people were like calling me, like, "Where do we park?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I got to play in 3 minutes." I'm like, "I got to start a show."
Right.
But it was very cool. It was very I don't know. Encouraging, I think, is the biggest word. Like, I think that was definitely something that
a motivator to keep going.
Yeah, I think, but I think it kind of kickstarted that. I just graduated college, but that was like the timing. Like I just finished that up, degree in photography. Like thought that's what I was gonna do. Like
right.
About 6 years of education in it, and not all college. I didn't go to college for 6 years. Right. But, although it might have benefited me, but we'll see. But I, graduated, and I was kind of playing music as a hobby, and that was like the that was like the first time where something, I felt like a shift in almost doing it like with intention. I get that was like kind of like the word. And so I tried to pursue it a little bit heavier, and I started writing, and I wrote songs that I kind of laugh at now, but you know, my parents are just divorced. Like I was a sad boy, and I was learning how to write music.
We all went through that phase.
Learning how to write music, and I did an EP, but there was a song on that EP, Steven, who you had last. He loves that, and I'm like, it's a song called "Set It Off." So shout out, Steven. There you are. I still don't remember how to play it, but I don't remember how to play it, and I should probably relearn it soon for him. But that was kind of like the first thing I did as far as writing, and you know, you learned your covers, and I did that show, and it was packed. It's not a large place. Fire marshal walked in, probably would have shut it down.
Probably.
You know, but I was so grateful.
Speaking of Steven, I did listen to a track that you worked with him to do. Was that just him, or was that with Versailles as a whole? Friends Don't Lie, I believe.
Yeah, Friends Don't Lie. So when we did it, it was just him texting me, and he showed me, and I hadn't met, like, I've known Trey for just about as long as I've known Steven.
You know Trey much more than I do, because I don't know him at all.
Well, like, I can't think of, like, but I've known him a while, but the couple other members, like, I was meeting guys when we did, the first time we ever did it live. Right. I was, like, you know, I met the guys, like, that morning to rehearse it. But, no, so... And I knew Finney too, and so Steven had mentioned that, like, you know, he was doing the drums, he's, you know, doing the production stuff on it, and please don't hurt me if I'm getting anything wrong, guys. But no, I went to Steven's house one day. I was working with a buddy of mine that day, and came to Steven's after, and he had sent me like the track and some of the lyrics, and he's like, I would love to have you on, like, on the second verse, but then he sent me the track with no vocals, and I heard like this bridge part. I guess that's what you would call it. I don't know. Yeah. But it was definitely a part where it kind of dropped down. There was like a clean channel on the guitar, all that stuff, and I was listening to it on the way down there. And so when I got to his house, I was like, hey, I like there was something about that part that, like, there was more feeling to it for me. And then, you know, I started thinking, like, structurally, like, I think, like, it would make more sense. And these were all just thoughts of mine. I was like, I don't want to take over, you know, your song, but like, and I want to do what you think is best. But I think it'd be cool to, like, have, you know, 3/4 of the song be you. And then, like, this last part that felt not separate in a bad way, but, like, a little bit more separate. And then, like, then you have, like, that guest vocal spot. But
there's nothing wrong with, like, constructive criticism or making your decision on a song or something.
Yeah,
like that, you know.
And I was, of
usually nobody's offended either. You know.
Yeah.
I mean? So I mean, my band has a new track coming out next month, and we have a guest on it, and they start the song.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they do the whole first verse, and then I'm in on the second verse.
That's sick.
And then we combine, like, our voices, like, literally combine for the bridge, and
that's so
thereafter.
Cool. Yeah.
So to each their own. Everybody gets to, you know, kind of make whatever they want.
That's awesome. I see, and that was like me. I was like, let me just, like, hang out in the backyard.
Right. I was in the middle of tracking it, and he had showed me how he wanted me to record it. Mm-hmm. It's Eric Blackway. He's going to be on the track with me. And he had recorded how he wanted me to get it out. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, man, like, it sounds really cool the way you're doing it. And I'm like, why don't you just, you know, go ahead and, you know, just... Yeah. And I really didn't think he would say yes. Because he's got band obligations and stuff for his own thing. But he was like, yeah, sure, whatever. So...
That's sick.
We just started writing the song together, and became a thing, and now it's getting released in October, and I'm like super stoked about it.
That's awesome, dude. But yeah, it was a fun little process, and I showed up to Steven's house, and he showed me the lyrics, and I was trying to think through like cadences and like how to sing certain parts, and yeah, he was just so awesome, because I knew it's so hard to kind of like and I think this can get into kind of like the collaboration conversation as well, of like writing with somebody too. And it's like, you write lyrics and you're like, and I don't know the moment when he was writing them, and I don't know where and so it's like, it's really challenging to get like the confidence to be like, hey, can I like change this? And thankfully,
it really depends on the person.
I don't think we changed much of it, but I think more so it kind of like shortened it, simplify maybe is the better word, just to help me sing it.
Right.
But you know, clearly it's worked out, and he's not mad at me about it. But
it's a great song. But I talked to him about it when he was here, and he was very excited about it. He's the one that actually told me to get in touch with you, because he thought you would be down to come do the podcast, which you were right, buddy. You were right.
Love you, baby. I love you. I'm getting really close to the mic, and I'm staring at the camera. But no, dude, that was a fun thing. And yeah, he was awesome about it, and he kind of let me kind of ride it out and just kind of do what was in my head, and you know, I think we got something we were happy with.
Yeah. Do you find it more enjoyable to write a track on your own or with somebody?
I think enjoyable, I think anyone would say on their own, because you don't have someone else saying like, hey, I think this is better. You know, but there's so much more worth, again, I think, in just collaborating on like writing things. You know, right. I do think it depends, because there's a lot of things that I've written, some that have kind of seen the light of day, some that haven't, where I wouldn't want anyone to touch it.
Right.
Lyrically.
Right.
I think that's an interesting thing for me, is like when I write music, like I don't think melody. I don't think like, normally my starting point is not that.
Right.
Maybe I'm like playing a simple progression on a guitar and like kind of making some stuff up, but most of the time it's like like even now, like I have a bunch of like just notes that are like 2 lines or like 1 line, or like, hey, song about this, like concept wise. And
so you do it to more get like your message out of what you want to say.
Yeah. Songwriting, I think what I've learned for myself is like songwriting's been a lot of like just coping. I wish it was the only thing I used to cope.
Right.
Unfortunately, that's not been the case. And you know, you lean to kind of other things, but I do think that songwriting has helped me. So it's like, you jump into the conversation of, you know, I don't really write happy music.
Right.
You know, it's like, you know, I've just kind of ridden the wave of the joke. I'm like, you know, it's sad boy and like whatever. 'Cause it is. And, you know, I think you can get more from it than what people, maybe are just like willing to admit.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
The number of songs that have just like, I can't say healed me, but like helped in certain things, like, because it was just nice hearing, it was just great hearing someone say something that I was feeling but I was afraid to say. My last record, there's a song, it's the last song on the album that, it's honestly probably one of my favorites, but it's called To Feel, and it was funny because that song started higher BPM, like it was right. Like I was trying to like juxtaposition, like it's a sad song lyrically, but like let's make it upbeat and kind of like not feel that way. And boy, was I proven wrong. Like once we went to like record it again, there was like another like shift that I was just like, this is not right.
Yeah.
And we did like a very kind of slow burn, sad song, and but it served its purpose, because like that song is just about trying to put to words what kind of doubt feels like.
Right.
I think, and
in your own head.
Yeah. And with any song, you always kind of go back and you're like, I could have written that differently, better.
Yeah.
But it was, I still listen to it, and every once in a while, I'm like, because I'll do that with the whole record. I'm like, do I still like this? And I'll listen back and I'm like, God, why didn't we just like do one more take on certain things? But that song specifically, I was like, this still feels cool. This still feels like what it was supposed to be. Mm-hmm. And I think I've only played it live like 4 times.
Well, for everyone out there who doesn't really know it, he does have an album out, Roses and Other Things. I found it on YouTube. I don't know if it's anywhere else.
It's wherever you want to stream things is where it's at. But
make sure to go and support him, for sure.
Yeah, don't listen too hard though. Dude, I'm not joking. Like that's the hardest part about like not having different more music out is like I listen again that and I'll dive into like the story of like how that came about in a second, but like that that album means a lot to me. But there was also like then when you step out of that, you're just like, again, like I said, you're just like, dang it, why don't we like do that take one more time or what?
That's what the purpose of having more albums is.
But it was
fill in for the rest of it next time.
It was definitely like a healthy thing to do.
Yeah,
it was a healthy record to write. And I wrote minus like 1 or 2 songs. I think I wrote all of it within like a couple months.
Nice.
And recorded it within another like 5 or 6. So I was out. I did one EP before, the one I mentioned earlier for for Steven. That it was called Not by Sight, and that did its purpose. Like I don't even think you can find it anywhere now. But
I did not find it personally.
That's okay.
Yeah, I did find Roses and Other Things, and I have listened to it a handful of times by now.
Well, thank you. But Not by Sight was, it was the starting line. It was the place to begin. But did that, and then about a year later, I have some family that lives out in Las Vegas, and my aunt was home, and she was like asking about music, and she was like, well, why don't you come out here and like stay with us? And I was like,
it's not a bad place to play music though.
Well, at the time I was like, what the hell? Like, I'm not going to Vegas. I'm born and raised in Delaware.
Vegas, baby, let's go.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Delaware, and I'm like, I don't like what is for me out there? And but then I thought about it, and about 2 months later, I decided that I was going to go. And so I think it was a few weeks into the new year, 2016, January. I attached a U-Haul, so I got a 4x8, ordered one, and I got there that day, and they were like, we don't have any, so we gave you a bigger one. And I was like, well, I'm pulling this on a Camry, like a 2000 Camry, and not like it was a 2000 Camry. And they're like, well, we wouldn't give you something that we're like that you couldn't pull. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I pulled a 5x8 U-Haul cross country attached to my Camry, and couldn't even fill it. Like
from Delaware to Vegas.
From Delaware to Vegas, yeah. One of my best buddies, Tyler, went with me and spent a couple days in Nashville. I had a friend who's still out there now, and so it was awesome. But it took about a week. It was about 3 days of driving, I think, total. But we set aside a week to do it. But anyway, moved out there, and it was cool because there was comfort and like having family that was there.
Right.
And so it was kind of like that part of the transition was easy. And then, I think once you realize that a lot of the things that you kind of ran to that kind of gave comfort, whether it be people or, or just places or family, like like other family, like whatever whatever it may be, but isn't there, and that sounds terrible because like my family that's out there are some of my favorite people, like to this day, like I'm not even exaggerating. But there was just something that like, dude, it was hard. Like I was
because going up there. I mean, or over. Yeah,
kind of honestly over and down.
Over and down. Over and down there. That sounds more dirty than it actually was.
Yep.
Anyway, but going out there, like you're leaving stuff here too, and that probably added to a lot of the stress or the thoughts that you were going through.
But I think what what I'm trying to get to is like there was a lot of safety here, and so when I went out there, like you don't have those, we'll call them safety blankets, like whatever it may be, like it wasn't the same. And so it's like I think I started to I had to like realize a lot of like the short of the long, is I think it was there that like the mental health stuff like that I'd realized the years and years of things that I had kind of just like pushed down because I was like, not gonna do it, not gonna deal with it. I'm good, I'm fine. I think even now at like 7 years later, 6 years later, like I'm still unpacking kind of why I thought that way. But yeah, it was tough, and of course the pretty explanation is then I wrote a record. Yeah. But I mean, and I did, but it wasn't, I think that was just a page in the multiple that have come after that. Like, and so that record means a lot to me. I poke fun at myself and I poke fun at it, and like, but it really does. Like there's, like Matthew's song is about my dad.
Okay.
Love that man to death.
Yeah.
I love him so much, but he's an addict, and so that's kind of, it's had its.
That's where Poison came from.
it's had its things, and and I've had, I'm sure, some opinions like of my family just about just wanting to, I guess maybe I'm naive, maybe I'm not, like of just like thinking he'll get, it's interesting to see how you decide to like love and care for people, and like those that get kind of upset about it. And you're just like, I'm not doing anything to hurt you, like I'm just trying to, and I know he's not, like, I mean, he's proven himself time and time again, like he's not really, sorry, I didn't come here to talk about my dad, but
no, you're good. Yeah, hey, I mean, like the more time goes on, the more I realize that like my involvement and problems are a lot of the same as everybody else around me. Mm-hmm. And like talking with you about this right now, I was like we don't know each other all that well, but we would be able to share similar stories and stuff, and that kind of gives me a little bit of credence that like I'm normal. As to where like, before doing all this recall the moment stuff like that, it was just me, my wife, and our kids, so like we didn't share our problems or share, you know what I mean, with other people. Like we just thought we were unique in the sense of we've got family members that are, kind of messed up, or we grew up this way, or we did that thing, and like we're the only ones. And like the more I do this, the more I realize that like that's a common thing for everybody. So, but moving back into like the music stuff.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Hey, I mean, I like having a conversation.
Can I
get to know you?
If I may, I'd love to just like conclude that, because I don't want it to be like.
Oh yeah, sure, go for it.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me was, I think what I learned is that, like, because I had this thought. I'm gonna get real dark for a second. I had this thought, like, I'm just gonna wake up one day and I'm gonna get a phone call that he's gone.
Right.
And I'm like, and I'm gonna choose to, like, whatever comes after that.
Right.
Honor is like a big word, but like just kind of talking about. Anyway, my conclusion about him is, because I feel like I got a lot of him in me, and I think he just displaced it.
Right.
But what I've kind of gained from that relationship, what I've learned from that, because I told him one day, I was like, I've learned, and a really good friend of mine helped me realize this, and I told my dad, I was like, hey, I don't respect you, but I love you. I don't have to respect you to love you.
Fair, yeah.
But that was like a big thing for me, because I'm like, you don't have to hold like a high regard of respect for anyone,
right?
To have an ability to love them. So I'm like,
right.
And there's a lot like, yeah, there's people just do shitty things.
They do.
But that I personally believe, and I'm sure people will, disagree, but like, that doesn't void them of like having someone say like, dude, I love you. But like, get your act together.
You gotta get it
thing.
right. Yeah, it's exactly right.
And he doesn't have to prove anything to me anymore. Like, at this point, like, he's my friend.
Right.
And I love him, and that's the bottom line, and that's it. But I don't even know if that's fully concluded what I was trying to say. But yeah, man.
As long as you're happy with your answer, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, dude. I'm just hell bent on, like, no one's got it. No one's got it all together.
Yeah, no one.
No one is.
That's what I was saying. Is like the similarities.
No one's impervious.
Yeah.
Like no one can get away from ego or insecurity.
Right.
Everyone has it.
Yeah.
Not everyone's willing to admit it, but not everyone has it, and
absolutely,
so it's just like. Yeah. Like I got it, you got it. Like just like I want to know that like people are gonna love me, and so I want people to know like, hey, like this looks, whatever this is, or whoever the person or whatever the situation, like it looks different from a million others, but like I want to look at someone, like I want to look at you and be like, bro, I don't know you, but I love you.
I've moved into the position of I feel I am a good person. I'm going to continue doing what I think is a good thing, and you're free to join if you want to. That's kind of where I sit in life right now, with literally everybody. So, I mean, I don't hold grudges. I don't hate anybody, like, I don't...
Bro, a grudge is such a waste of time.
It really is. It really is. So, I mean, like, I'm not going to waste any of my energy.
Sorry, I got really close for that. But
I'm glad we have compressors, but we'll be all right.
I'm also sorry for cutting you off, but
it's okay.
You used that word, and I was just like, I had to say it. Sorry. I'll be quiet.
So well, we're already 40-some minutes in, so we'll move into like some of the other music stuff, and then I'll whittle it down later on to what stays, what goes.
Just make it a long one, bro.
All that good stuff. It's a lot of memory to do that.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I've taken my shoes off and everything.
We did. I don't mind. Get comfortable. It don't matter to me.
You've made this very comfortable. Thank you.
All right, cool. See, we're doing a good job here, guys. We got to keep it up. Anyway.
What was the second look?
I'm in the belief that I am not doing a good job at my job. But I love my job because I'm getting to meet so many awesome people. I've had some really great bands come out. I'm hoping to continue it on into the future. I don't know when it's going to end, but like just one, learning how to be social and, doing that brave thing and sending a message to somebody that I have never met before and them saying yes is like a total honor. You know what I mean? Like I didn't think anybody would ever do that for me or my band or things, So, I mean, it's like real sentimental. It hits me in the feels that like so many people were just like, yeah, man, that's fine. Let's do this. So we're going to finish the podcast like this because we had a battery die. It is what it is. Nothing is ever perfect on this podcast. You guys should know my shenanigans by now. We've had 4 different locations. We've did different setups and stuff like that. It is what it is. But before the batteries die, I did want to ask you, do you plan on creating more albums? Do you have any plans in the near future to do any more music recorded?
Yeah. Well, now you get to see me look at him.
Yeah.
So this is...
Yeah, it is what it is. Sorry about the camera.
No. I'm saying that's a good thing. Like, they know that I'm actually talking to somebody.
Yeah, for real.
Could you imagine we were just in another room, just talking to each other? Right.
Just like you're at your house on your microphone. I'm here.
But yes, I do. I want to. Like that first song, and I can't remember if we touched on this at this point, but that's an unreleased song. It's called The Space, and it's been written for about 3 years. And so there's some songs I've been sitting on, about 3 or 4 of them, and I think I'm at a point now where I don't know if I'm waiting too long.
Yeah.
Because that record, Roses, will be 7 in December, and but maybe I'm waiting just long enough. Like I'm not really sure. Like I want to do a full length. I've had ideas of like concepts.
Yeah.
Like making it like a concept record, but then I'm like, that's silly. Don't do that. I love concept records, by the way, but I was like, my brain doesn't have the bandwidth for that.
Right.
Then I'm like, we'll do an EP just to get something out. But anyway, the answer is yes. I just don't know when. I think I just want to make sure that I have songs that are ready, and they can only be as ready as, I don't even know if ready is the right word, because it's like the moment you get in to start doing it, it's like things change. And I know one of our notes was about collaboration, and I have a buddy, Isaac Lee, who lives down in Atlanta. He's one of my best friends. In my wedding, I was in his wedding a couple of months ago, and he lived in Vegas when I lived there, and so he's the one that did Roses and Other Things with me. And
okay, cool.
And he's one of my favorite people in the world. Definitely under my wife, but she's my favorite person ever, and she's my best friend, and she is just the best thing that's ever happened to me. I just had to put that there.
Yeah, you're good. And well, before the battery dies on this one, we'll go ahead and start calling it. Do you have anywhere that you would like people to reach out to you, contact, get a hold of you, search for your stuff? Yeah,
I mean, that record's on everything that I release will be like streaming platforms, wherever you want. YouTube, I got to revamp. I don't have a website. I've been working on trying to like do that, but on my own, and I don't know what I'm doing. So,
right.
But yeah, those things. I played locally, so Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. It's just my name, Dayne Melvin. So I hope to see people out there.
All right, man. Well, thank you for coming out and hanging out, and I appreciate all of the time that you've given to this.
Yeah.
Especially the nice little performance in the intro and stuff. I thought it was really cool. You did a great job.
I feel like I took too much time.
No. We just got really bad battery life here.
I feel like there was just more to talk about, but...
Yeah, well, that just means you have to come back out and visit again.
Do a part 2. I'm all down. I'm down for it.
Yeah.
You just let me know.
We'll do that. We actually have to see if it saved the recording since it died in the middle.
So we might have to do one anyway.
So as for the Recall the Moment stuff, we do this podcast once a month, and we release music videos every couple of months. Next month, October, we do have a new song coming out, officially titled Ridicule, featuring Eric Blackway. Make sure to check that out at the end of the month. My wife is doing the video on that one, so it's going to be a lyric video from my wife, Crystal. Until then, peace and love, y'all.
Love you, mean it.